Curtis Trades here, and today I'm going to be comparing a manual jack versus an electric jack. What sets these two jacks apart is how they do their jobs and the different things that you can do specifically with the electric jack that you can't do with the manual jack. Both these jacks are actually hydraulic jacks. This one uses a manual handle to pump the jack up. This one uses a battery and a switch to move the jack up. So they are similar in that regard because they both use a hydraulic motor. One's just run by a hand pump, one's run by a battery. So this is the biggest improvement that the electric jack makes over the manual jack. If you're in a tight space, the nice thing about the electric jack is you don't need to pump the handle to make it lift the vehicle. So this makes working in tight spaces really awesome. Like if you have a single stalled garage, for example, or you just are working on the street or somewhere where you don't have a lot of space, you can just lift it up with the push of a button. The space saving is really nice for this jack. So with the manual jack, again, I'm gonna be here a long time trying to jack this up without running into my garage door here. And it's really gonna take me forever, especially if you're in a really tight spot where you can't move the car or you really just have a really small area to work with. If you are looking to purchase either of these jacks, check out the link down in the description. And if you have any questions or comments about them, let me know those as well. Okay, so the next thing that makes the electric jack a little bit safer than a standard manual jack is the movements up and down are very smooth, and you can also be very precise with them. If I want to lower it just a little bit, when I push the down button, I can just barely lower it like at all. And it's also not like jerking the car down a lot when you lower it or raise it. It's a very smooth motion up and down, which makes it a lot less likely to slip off of the jack. And it's also very precise. When you're raising it with the manual jack, it's usually pretty smooth. The problem is when you're lowering it with a manual jack, it can be really tricky to loosen it enough to just barely let it down. It takes a lot of time to get that exact right spot. And a lot of times if you do it a little bit too far, it'll let the car down really quickly. So even if you just go a little bit too far, it's gonna jolt down on you. If you need to jack up a spot that's really far underneath the car, you can slide these almost all the way underneath the vehicle. If you put the handle down low, you can go all the way down and you can still jack it up using the buttons because again, you don't have to move the handle up and down. It's not gonna cause you a problem to jack it up really far in an inaccessible area. So the reach is just amazing with these things. So I want to use the manual jack this far under. It's going to take me a really long time if I can even jack it up at all. I just don't have enough play in here to get the jack to start jacking up. And if I can get it to go up, it's going to be going up by millimeters. So in these cases is where the manual jack is superior. The speed for going up and down is much quicker than the electric jack is, but only if I have enough room to actually move the jack. If I'm in a really tight spot, it's definitely going to be slower. But if you have a large area, it's a little bit faster to get the car up and then to lower it down. I think the trade-off for having a much smoother raise and lower with the electric jack is a fine trade-off for it being a little bit slower. It's not as slow as I thought it would be. I thought the manual jack would be much quicker than it was. Two is you can also get both of these different jacks in a lot of different configurations. These two are very similar in terms of their size and their reach and their lift height. You can get longer ones that have a higher lift height and that have a longer reach out in front of them. You can also get them in different versions of the wheels. Like this is a big wheel jack, so you can roll it a little bit smoother. You can also pick it up and turn it. This one has casters. You can get the electric one with casters on it. You can get big wheel manual jacks as well. So there's a lot of different configurations that they both will have. This one's about 70 pounds. This one's about 85 pounds. So it's about 15 pounds heavier. The other thing is you do have to charge the 20-volt battery with the electric jack. On a full charge, which takes about 2 hours to charge, you can lift a smaller car like this about 25. For a larger truck or SUV, about 15 to 20 times. So that is something to take into consideration. It does also have an emergency release. If your battery runs out, you can pull this back here and it will lower the jack manually. So even if you don't have battery, you still can lower the jack, which is a nice feature to see. But overall, both jacks are very good. This one is definitely safer. Depending on the jack model that you get, it's a little bit more expensive than a traditional jack. But I think the added safety, and especially if you have a small area where you're working with where you don't have a lot of room, the electric jack does make a lot of sense. It seems like a lot of times these days people are just electrifying things for the sake of electrifying them. But if you look at the pros and the things that it adds to the features of the jack, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's a lot smoother, which is a lot safer. You can use it in a lot narrower spots. It's got a lot longer reach. And so it does improve the overall usability and features of the hydraulic jack, the manual hydraulic jack. So it is a much better improvement upon an already really good existing product. If you are looking to purchase either of these jacks, check out a link down in the description. And if you have any questions or comments about them, let me know those as well.